Hello, honorable members of the class. So let's go to the North Gauteng High Court. Well, we started very slow this morning because Mr. Mgomezulu was stuck in traffic and he said he was going to be in court around or maybe around 10:15. Unfortunately, that did not happen because it arrived around 10:27 when I looked at the clock. Of course, these are the things that are out of your control. We all have been stuck in traffic before, including our own bosses sometimes who don't want to understand that there's traffic out there, and some people, they drive like lunatics, and as a result they cause accidents, and then we get stuck in traffic for hours on end. Even the judge looked a little bit irritated, and I'm thinking, Judge, have you ever been stuck in traffic before? But anyways, we are not there. Let's go to Gininda being on the stand, and he's still lying through his teeth. And I don't know if you noticed that once again, his voice dipped. It dipped because he knew that, I'm going to be lying once again. And then I keep asking myself, you remember the time when we were waiting for Mr. Mgomezulu? There were shackles that were making noise. I think the accused were coming up the stairs. And I kept wondering, you know that you are smearing something on these people, especially in Tanzi. I am crying about Tanzi. And you know for a fact that you are here on a fib. How does that make you feel when you see somebody else's child in shackles for a crime they did not commit and possibly even losing everything they ever had in their life, including their children, etc., and so on, and you know it was based on a lie? No heart. Anyways, let's go back to the lead by Baloy on this particular lie. Gininda. So basically, Mr. Baloy, he also seems to always remember things and then he wants to put them on record, just like the first lead investigator in this matter. And then Mr. Gininda says, yeah, there was a major general, at the time he was Brigadier Shibiri, who was the lead investigator. And when he was appointed, now Gininda, when he was appointed as the lead investigator in this matter, him and General Major Shibiri, they sat down and he was briefed by Major General Shibiri. I don't even know what these terms are all about, these rankings. But anyways, they are. And then indeed, he did brief him about everything that transpired in this matter, including some of the team members that took statements from witnesses, eyewitnesses, neighbors, you name it, and all of that. And now that he is an actor and he was actively involved in this particular investigation himself as the brigadier back then. And then he says another Brigadier Sinono, who was also a coordinator. So you had the lead investigator and also a coordinator of the investigation in the name of Brigadier Sinono. And then he continues to say, according to the system, then they came to the matter of Mr. Makubo as well as Buthelezi. Is it Sergeant Buthelezi? Who, by the way, kind of like peeled off from the main investigation as they were working together with Gininda, and then they started their own investigations, which he says born the cast number 375. And then he basically went to town in discrediting docket 375 as not legit. He's basically trying to say, because he does say at the end that he sees no basis of CAS 375. The only active one is 636, which of course Officer Makubo has a lot to say in docket 375. Of course, it points at the people that were in the house that one of them did pull the trigger. And also, Mr. Makubo, as well as Sergeant Buthelezi, they opened a case. They opened a case supposedly against Gininda for defeating the ends of justice. And then it's quite interesting when that happened, what happened to Officer Makubo. Remember, I think he was fired or something like that. And secondly, he was smeared with cases or charges of cases that he did not commit. Even a court found them to be baseless, no sufficient evidence, and then he was let go. And then the next thing we heard, which is the third thing, is that his life is in danger. As we speak, Officer Makubo, I believe he is in protective something. I don't know who's conducting it, whether it's the SAPS. Is it the SAP? I don't think it's them. Probably it's an NGO or something that is protecting him from this particular witness. As far I don't know if allegedly, let's put it that way, allegedly. But that they're not gonna talk about it because why should he expose himself for lying? Number one, and also smearing Officer Makubo with charges of crimes he never committed, which kinda is a nature already we see with the 5 people that are accused of deleting Senzo Meyiwa. That it's a smear campaign on them because he wants to look good. He wants to have a good legacy that he caught the most wanted criminals in South Africa that deleted Senzo Meyiwa. Imagine that great reputation. That when you leave that behind, your name will be studied by other police officers, probably even law students. So come what may, he needs to go down in history as being that guy who solved the Senzo Meyiwa deletion. Yeah, that's what I think is going on here. Then he continues to say, then of course Mr. Baloyi reads something about a testimony that was done by Mangena, and Mr. Mgomezulu questioned him on the 28th of August 2024 that Mr. Mangena was what was it again? Oh yeah, I questioned Mr. Gininda about Makubo having had the original docket 636 in his hand. And then Mr. Gininda says, no, Makubo never carried the original copy of 636-10-2024. They all had copies. I'm the only one who had the original. And the only time the original left my hands was when it went to the DPP in Johannesburg, and the second time when it went to the NDPP in Pretoria. And I signed back for it to be in my hands, and no one else has ever had the original. And definitely Officer Makubo could not have had the original in his hand as well. However, all the investigating officers were shown the original docket of 636. Yeah, so that is what's going on. And then Mr. Gininda continues to say that when he was discrediting 375, that there are too many discrepancies in 375. Statements that are supposed to be there are not there. People that supposed to have made like eyewitnesses and people in the house were not interviewed. He just went to town in discrediting 375, and then he ends by saying, I see no basis for 375. It was quite interesting. He even says that in the 375, the statements of Muzi as well as Muhlahlo are not in the in 375. There are a lot of stuff that are not on the 375 that ought to be there that makes up a docket, he says. And then Mr. Baloyi went to the new aspect. Remember yesterday when we left off, he was about to go into the new aspect, and that new aspect was on the confessions of Muzi Sibiya, accused number 1, that he had made to Colonel Mboto. And then the details of the confessions are based on accused number 1 and only could be known by Mr. Muzi Sibiya. Basically, this is where Baloyi tells Gininda that according to accused number 1, he says that the confession was already drafted for him. All that he needed to do was to sign. And then Gininda said, no, that's not true. He's the one who wrote it. All the things that are said in the statement corroborate with everything that transpired at the Khumalo house. etc. And so he says he wouldn't have known these details except for accused number one, including the two names of Marco and Makiba, who it turns out at a later stage that Mr. Muzi Sibiya lied to him as the lead investigator about Marco and Makiba because they have been incarcerated since 2013 to about 2016, and the matter happened in 2014. I'm thinking, no, I think what is going on here, it's Gininda correcting their own mistake by adding Marco and Makiba without first checking that they are actually in prison. I think it was the Mube, if not the Mube, it was, what do you call this, accused number 5's family that said, hang on a minute. I think it's accused number 4's family who said, hang on a minute, that this is a lie. Those people have been in prison since 2013. And then when Gininda and them realized, oh, we made a mistake, now suddenly it is their story in the confession that it is Muzi Sibiya that said that. Our police force is rotten to the core. And you can see what's going on. And then it continues to say that Mr. Marco was then released in 2016. Around 2019, he was then deleted by being shot. And I was like, I wonder why. Who did that? Because, of course, the investigations, I think, I don't know. Let's just leave it there. Maybe I think Mr. Makuba was already doing some investigations and speaking to Marco and Makiba. And one had to be deleted to teach the other one a lesson. Open your mouth, you are going to follow type of situation. I don't know. I'm not saying it happened. That's how it happened. No, I'm just rubbing my two IQs here, guys. And then accused number one in the statement, he tried to mislead us. However, in his statement, he does say that in the house, they had demanded for cell phones and money. And eyewitnesses say that's exactly what happened. So he is telling on themselves on what actually happened. I thought the person that went in the house was accused number 3 and accused number 2. So now, mess. And then he continues to say, he also speaks about a white polo, but it was close enough because it was a silver polo belonging to accused number 5. And on that day, it was driven by accused number 5. And they also looked into accused number 5's ID to link him with all other vehicles that he's ever earned. And this is when he goes into the traffic history of accused number 5. And I'm thinking, what's the relevance? And even Advocate Mshololo stood up on objection regarding the relevance of this particular information, because this information happened around 2016 and 2020. Why is it being brought to a matter that happened in 2014? Because that is exactly what we're here for. Then Mr. Baloy, he stood up to defend his assertion by saying it's relevant on the grounds of circumstantial evidence. Then Judge Rata ruled that the evidence will be allowed. I was not surprised anyways, and I don't know, well, the state, I guess, they do have the right to put whatever they want to put as evidence on the table. And then, of course, you know, they got the backing of the judge, in my opinion. Other than that, we are now on short adjournment, and when they come back, we continue on this fib. It's a fib, guys. You feel him. I'm telling you. Other than that, guys, please do not leave this video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And this is how we do it here. Just want to add one more thing here. There's somebody that has a problem with me having a spatula and my mic on it. Guys, we are content creators. We are if you me having my mic on the spatula, it's nothing. Some people, they put their microphone as an earring right here and they speak. Others, when they're wearing a cap or a hat, they clip it on the hat. Others, they have clipped it on their eyebrow. There is all kinds of things to be creative and unique on YouTube. This is not a television station. This is a channel that is owned by an individual, and the individual can do as they please. So even if you decide to leave this channel, you are definitely going to come across other YouTubers that are going to do things that you don't like. Are you going to keep moving? Because at the end of the day, they are creators and they need to be creative, and also to listen to their community. Because I used to have a spoon, and then my community asked, Hey, where's the spoon? And then I don't know where the spoon is. I think my sister took it. So I'm using a spatula, and then everybody's happy again. So you are going to go around not happy about how content creators conduct their business on their channels? Is that what we're talking about here? And let's also try to normalize that if you don't like something, don't tell people what to do on their platforms. If you don't like something, just like you came quietly, leave quietly without having to impose your own ideas on other people. Usually, if you don't like the spatula, you should say, this channel is not for me, and then you leave. Because telling me as an individual, how am I supposed to take you serious? And at the same time, even if I do take you serious, this is my channel. I'm just saying, I'm not fighting with you. I'm actually educating you about content creation. That this is not a television station, because in a television station, yes, they will clip their mics on a blouse, t-shirt, jacket, whatever. They will not do what we are doing, because that's the freedom we have. It's called creative freedom. So let's normalize not telling content creators what to do, because you are not going to enjoy what they are going to respond. Nobody's going to listen to you, period. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.